All right. Welcome. Thank you, everybody. Yes, welcome to Manchester United Elder TV. And thank you guys. We'll be discussing the Manchester United. How are you? How is the week? How was your week? I hope that your week was good. Sorry, your weekend. I hope that your weekend was good. Yeah, mine was cool. I enjoyed watching Premier League games. One of my I think my most favorite game I watched was the Man City Newcastle, where Man City was actually very resilient in getting that 3 points. Man, I thought that they did really really well, Man City. And for me, I think that that result blew the Premier League race wide open. Also, I saw Arsenal, demolish Tottenham. I thought that the Tottenham team is actually really bad, and that team deserves to go on relegation. Because tell me how you got a new manager, and I think that this new manager has come with a new system, a new style of play, and this is not going to suit the players. So I'm talking out of experience. Yeah, we've seen that 3-4-3 system, being played and being orchestrated in England, and it has not worked, in the favor of the player, the manager. So for me, I think that they should be able to scrap out that 3-4-3 thing, 3-4-2-1 system or 3-4-3 system. I don't think that the manager that would make it work in England has come yet. I believe that football is football, the same everywhere. But then I know that there are systems that might not allow you, or there is something about the English league that might not allow you, play the kind of football that you want to play. So basically you have to adapt to what is obtainable when playing in England. So for me, Igor Tudor, I don't think that he's a bad coach, but then playing the 3-4-3 system or the 3-4-2-1 system, I think it's going to take him a lot of time, to actually get that going. And also, because we've seen it thrive in England. We've seen Antonio Conte with Chelsea. The time that the Victor Moses era, we've seen it thrive in England. We've seen coaches come in England and play the 3-4-3 system, and it has worked out for them. And also, because it did not work out for Ruben Amorim, does not mean that we might just rule it off entirely. But Igor Tudor with Tottenham Hotspur, I think that they've not been able to do it properly, and that affected how they played against Arsenal, because I thought that they have the talent enough to actually hold Arsenal, but then the system wasn't. It was not allowing them do what they had to do. We actually saw Igor Tudor screaming at the center back. I think Begval, telling him to go forward, and the guy was not ready to go, and that made Igor Tudor say we have a lot of good players who are lazy. But then that is not why we are here. We are here to discuss the Everton versus Manchester United game, and how possible it is for Manchester United to be able to get a win over Everton this evening and get into that top 4 position. We know that it is Europa or it is UEFA League or nothing. Manchester United is not a club that should be thinking of playing in the Europa League. It is either we get the UEFA Champions League or nothing. So the game between Manchester United and Everton has to be a very important game for Manchester United. And what is the best way for Manchester United to actually get a win over Everton if we have to get into the top 4? Manchester United boys will travel to Hill Dixon Stadium this evening to play against Everton. And if we look at the Everton last 5 games, let's pull it up. Everton last 5 games. Let's pull it up. Everton's last 5 games. Sorry, guys. It's taking a minute, but let me pull it up. Everton last 5 games. If you look at it, Everton is in the 9th position, and they have 2 wins, 2 draws, and 1 loss in their last 5 games. And when you look at Manchester United have 4 wins and 1 draw. So it's going to be a very tricky game, because Everton has 2 wins 2 draws, and 1 loss. Manchester United have not lost a game in 9 matches. So Manchester United will be that team with the momentum going into this one. Remember, we lost to Everton in the first leg of this game, and that we lost 1-0 to Everton, who happened to play the remainder of their game with 10 men at Old Trafford. Now, Manchester United will be looking at getting back a pound of flesh from the Everton, from this game, and hope that they can be able to hurt Everton for give Everton something. We lost to Everton under Ruben Amorim, right? And then right now it is Michael Carrick taking us back to the Lee Dixon Stadium to actually get our pounds of flesh back. If we look at Everton, their coach, and David Moyes, let us look at David Moyes. What we can actually get from this game. And we know that Manchester United is very good on the break, very good with attacking football, very good on the counter, and we might just be able to outclass Everton when it comes to playing through the counter or play attacking. Manchester United, for me, I think in the beginning of the game should not allow Everton rest. That is one way to unsettle them. I think that you should go out there. I think that Manchester United have to press them, go fast on them, press them, because when you press them, I believe that they are going to crack. The Everton players, due respect to them, but I think that the quality, to play out from the back is not something that is quite evident. They have a very pretty midfielder in James Garner, but I think that if Manchester United with Cunha, Ahmad, and Mbeumo, if they press the Evertonian backline, they are going to actually cause them trouble, or maybe force them to go long. And when you force Everton to go long, Manchester United have players that can win the first balls and the second balls. There's Casemiro, there is Bruno Fernandes, and also there is Diogo Dalot, there is Luke Shaw. Players are there to actually win the second balls. Manchester United will be looking at creating loads of chances against Everton. But then I think that if we press them early, if we make sure that we press them quite early, Manchester United might just be able to unsettle them, get an early goal, and that will turn the whole tide into the favor of Manchester United. Because that unsettles Everton, make them very uncomfortable. They will not be able to come at us. Yes. So, but then a situation where we are not able to do that, and Everton gets an opportunity to sit back, and soak up and create that low block against Manchester United. We know how how Everton can create the low block. We know that they can actually mount that low block, making sure that no ball passes. And then this is a very there is a very, very instrumental way to actually get through the low block. And for me, it is setting players in those into the mix. Put players into the mix. We have players who are able to go on the half turn. We have players who are able to play the 1-2 touches and all of that. And that is a very key way for Manchester United to actually break down the Everton low block. Also, I think that Manchester United will need the services of Benjamin Sesko. Benjamin Sesko will be very instrumental in this game because of his height and because of his strength. And I think that he would give Manchester United another dynamic going into this game, because we might be able to look for him in the air. This guy will be able to win aerial duels and all of that. So Benjamin Sesko will be very instrumental in this game. I don't know how Michael Carrick would want to choose, but then I think that Benjamin Sesko in this game, a situation where the Evertonians go on the low block, sit back. I think that Everton in this game, if they sit back, Manchester United need a character like Benjamin Sesko in that space to actually get Manchester United goals or create goal threat. Also, I think that Benjamin Sesko plays a very important role in playing in the midfielders and also the attacking midfielders. That is very, very instrumental. If we look at him, he's becoming very sharp. Benjamin Sesko is becoming very sharp, being able to hold the ball. and looking a lot more better. He can play in Ahmad, he can play in Buemo, he can play in Bruno. He can drop it for Bruno, he can drop it for Kobe and all of that. So if we can use Benjamin Sesko as a guide to get balls off, win second balls, and take, like, let us imagine the game against Chelsea, where he had a touch and the ball went right into the part of Mbuemo, and then Robert Sanchez came out and fouled Mbuemo. That resulted to a red card for Robert Sanchez. So if Manchester United will be able to use Mbuemo, we will actually do better, a lot more better, in this game against Everton. I feel like Manchester United can do, we can do things, and also get ourselves in very, very good positions. Yes, that is what I think that Manchester United can do for us. Then if we look at the Evertonian the Everton, let us look at what they actually possess and what they can actually do against Manchester United. When you look at their team, we don't know if there are any injuries. Like, we don't know if there are any injuries, but then Everton have players like Jack Grealish, Jordan Pickford. We have Tyler Debling with Idris Gueye. They have James Garner, Beto, Michael Keane. James Tarkowski. These defenders, and last time it was Kenan Dubsri Hall that scored against Manchester United. So we have to have an eye, because these guys will want to hit on the break. These guys will want to come at Manchester United on the break. They will want to cause Manchester United some harm, playing out from the back or going long and playing on the break. And this is why I say that if Manchester United will be going at them, we need to have players that will be reserved. Players like Casemiro, players like Lisandro Martinez and Harry Maguire. These players, because Harry Maguire does not have the pace to run after a player, so he has to stay back. It is very important that he has to stay back, because we know that if these guys get an opportunity to hit us on the break, Harry Maguire might not be able to track back, and that will cause a lot of problems for Manchester United. But in a situation where they decide to sit back and soak the pressure, Manchester United, I think, have the players. If we choose not to go for Benjamin Sesko for his height and all of that, okay, we can actually also suit another style by overloading the wing positions. Yes, when we overload the wing positions, they would have to cover up, but then overloading the wing positions would help Manchester United drag these defenders and out of shape, or out of their normal shape, and that will give spaces, that will create spaces in between where Manchester United players can actually run in to welcome the ball. So the likes of Bruno Fernandes and Kobe Mainu will be really instrumental for Manchester United when going on the attack. Yes, because if they sit back, Bruno Fernandes and Kobe Mainu will be really instrumental to making sure that we go into them, getting. If you look at the game against Olympic Lyon, Olympic Lyon, the game against Olympic Lyon, where we had the likes of Kobe Mainu, in the box. We had the likes of Ahmad in the box, and that ball gets into the part of Casemiro. Casemiro flicks it to the part of Kobe Mainu, and Kobe Mainu gets 1-2 and then bang into the post. So this is the kind of football Manchester United can play. We can have players in those boxes where we can do flicks and turns and 1-2 touches, and then you can break that defense and get yourself in on goal. So I think that we have the quality to actually break down whatever it is that the Evertonians bring to Manchester United. Yes, so for me, we can actually do very well against this team if we keep our heads down, and if we keep our heads down and stay focused, stay determined. One thing is to believe there is an opportunity for Manchester United, to go. Yes, there's an opportunity for Manchester United to go fourth on the table. Yes, we have the opportunity to go fourth on the table. It is very, very achievable that Manchester United can go fourth on the table, because if we look at the Premier League table right now, if we look at the Premier League table, let me see if I can pull up the Premier League table. If we look at the Premier League table right now, where Manchester United is, the points, the points we have, and if if we actually beat Everton, where we will be on the table. So I just want to pull up the Premier League table and show you guys where we could possibly be. Where we could possibly be if we beat Everton. Yes, Manchester United can be in a very good position, in a very, very good position. Let us look at where we can possibly be if we are able to beat Everton. So this is the Premier League table. Manchester United is fifth in the Premier League table. Yeah. Right now, Manchester United is fifth in the Premier League table. If you can see it, we are fifth here with 47 points. Chelsea 48 and Aston Villa in their position. Now, if we are able to actually beat, if we are able to beat West Ham, Everton. If we are able to beat Everton, this gives Manchester United the ability to get 48 points. We are 45, Chelsea is 45, and if we actually get a win, we'll be 48 points, and that would drag us 3 points off Aston Villa, 2 points of 2 points off Chelsea. Are we 3 points off Chelsea? Exactly. 3 points off Chelsea, 3 points close to Aston Villa, and that gives Manchester United the momentum to go further. So if you look at it, we are actually in a very good position to go all out at the Hill-Dixon Stadium to get a win, because that win would put us in a very good position on the table. And for me, I'm looking at the players that Manchester United I'm looking at the players what's his name? Michael Carrick here. I'm looking at the players Michael Carrick might just might decide to feature here, and this is the table for me. And looking at this, I think that Manchester United will be. This is for me the lineup. I think that Michael Carrick will be going for. Lisandro Martinez and Harry Maguire in the centre-back position, then Luke Shaw and Diogo Dalot in the full-back position. Casemiro and Kobe Mainu plays in the CDM role, one advanced and one deep. And then Bruno Fernandes plays his number 10 free role, while Matheus Cunha plays as a false nine with Mbeumo and Ahmad by the side. Well, I think that Michael Carrick might also choose to play Matheus Cunha on the left, on the left, and decide to bring Mbeumo in the middle. Whichever he chooses to go with, there is no problem. But then when I say that Manchester United will be making loads of good if we actually use the players that we ought to use. If you look at the Luke Shaw and Mbeumo, if we are able to overload that place, that is considering the fact that Everton decides to play low block. If we are able to load that space properly, Manchester United will be able to. If we load up that space using Luke Shaw and Mbeumo as decoy, Manchester United can be able to get into that low block and get crosses into the middle for Matheus Cunha. Also, the same thing with Ahmad and Dalot. If Ahmad and Dalot can combine properly, that will create an overload on the right side of the wing, and that would help Manchester United get into 1-2 spaces, get into spaces at the byline, and play crosses into the middle where we have where we might probably have Cunha, Bruno, or Mainu in that space. So we have a lot of things to do. We have a lot of plays to try. We have a lot of things to try in this game that will help Manchester United get into very good positions for goals. We are going to create, if we follow our timeline and follow what we have there, we are going to create loads of chances against Everton. Yes, we are going to create, because if we look at Bruno Fernandes, what Bruno Fernandes can offer Manchester United, Bruno Fernandes can get into those lines. Another form, aside from, listen, I've painted two pictures for you where I think that Manchester United can hurt Everton. I've painted two different pictures for you. One is that we can use Benjamin Sesko's air ability to get a goal, get crosses into the box. There are players like Benjamin Sesko, Bruno Fernandes, Kobe Mainu, who can arrive into the box late and get a touch on the ball. Aside from that, we can also use the byline, by overloading the two sides of the field, two sides of the wing, and use them to get into the byline and get passes into the 18-yard channel. This is another way for Manchester United to actually break down the defense and get goals. And the third side of it that I think that Manchester United can do where I think Manchester United can do properly will be for Manchester United can do properly in these situations by going long. Yes, it is very important that Manchester United, by going long, we can hit. I've seen players like Bruno Fernandes hit from far. I've seen players like Casemiro hit the ball from far. We know that Benjamin Sesko can hit the ball. This season, we've seen Matheus Cunha, we've seen Dogu, all scoring from the outside the 18-yard box. So it is clear example that Manchester United can hit the ball. The players can hit the ball from outside the 18-yard box. This is very potent way of getting goals against Everton. So if we cannot break down the defense line, because if we look at against West Ham, Manchester United struggled. It was not really a good game against West Ham. And one thing I expect from Manchester United players this evening would be to be able to move the ball swiftly. It is a very important part of the game for me, moving the ball swiftly. If we can move the ball very well, there is this saying from Luka Modric that said that if you move the ball, the faster you move the ball, the lesser time it is for your opponents to actually get close to the ball. So we need to move the ball with purpose, with direction, with enthusiasm, and swiftly. Yeah, I know that it is very good to be patient on your build-up, but I think that if we move the ball faster in the final third, we will the Evertonians would find it very difficult to play against us. I understand Manchester United have a very resilient defense. Yes, and many of the times when I think that the only weak part we have in our system is the midfield. Comprising of Kobe and Casemiro, who actually cannot run. Kobe, I think, does not have the legs anymore. Well, I think Casemiro does not have the legs anymore. I think that for Kobe is slow as a player, so we cannot rely on Kobe to actually track back a lot. But then, like I said, that can only happen. We can only see these things when Manchester United is without the ball. There will be times where Manchester United will lose the ball, and we might not be able to get back to get the ball until they get to our 18-yard box. And this is why I think that we have a very resilient defense line in the mood of Lisandro Martinez, Harry Maguire, Diogo Dalot, and Luke Shaw. I think that in the Premier League right now, Manchester United defense is one of the best actually. So for me, I think that we have that defense to actually make it keep Everton at bay. Yes. So for me, that is what we can do. Yeah, I think that this is all we can do to make sure that we are able to get into the top four. When you look at it, where I think that we are able to get into the top four. Look at where we are in the 5th position with 45 points. Yeah, we are in the 5th position with 45 points. And if Manchester United can at least, be very, very focused, I think that we will be able to get over the Everton team. So for me, I think I think this might be an easy win, but then it is a very, very serious test for Michael Carrick, because I am 100% sure that they are going to pack the bus. They are going to play low block. And, we want to see what Michael Carrick has learned from the game against West Ham. We want to understand, or we want to see what he has been able to copy from the game against West Ham. And we want to know, sometimes these coaches might just throw in an element of surprise for the players and for the opposition. So we would want to know what Michael Carrick is going to have off his sleeves, and what he's going to pull out. In other news, I want to say this: Manchester United. We hear that a lot of things has happened at the Carrington. Michael Carrick changing seven rules in the dressing room, and making the players train less, rest more, and go home early. For me, I don't think it's a bad thing. I don't think it's but I think that in this situation where we are right now, we are not supposed to be having that kind of break. Telling the players to take a break, because it feels like Manchester United went on an international break and we are just coming back. And telling the players to actually take a break, for me, I think that was uncalled for, because that is how the indiscipline comes into the team, because you are allowing the players stay away too much. They are traveling to different parts of the world. For me, that is how indiscipline comes into the team. And I think that Michael Carrick needs to understand that. He needs to stop that. These players have to stay focused, because we don't have any game we are playing. We are not in the Carabao Cup. We are not in the FA Cup. We are not in the we are not in the Champions League. We are not playing any competition. So the players need to stay focused. The players need to remain in Carrington and plan a very good way to actually win this match, not allowing the players to start traveling, going to different parts of the world in the middle of the season. For me, that might actually take away the momentum from these players. We have seen the indiscipline we had to deal with, under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, under Eric Ten Hag. We dealt with loads of indiscipline, and now that Ruben Amorim came in to dismantle this player power, end all of it. We don't need another coach that will come and encourage player power or encourage indiscipline, because freedom begets indiscipline. When you give players loads of freedom, when you allow them to do certain things that they're not supposed to do, because I'll tell you for free, no manager have achieved success being friends with the players or being lenient with the players. Every manager I know that have achieved success being very strict and playing to the rules. And this is what Michael Carrick needs to understand. We are not a team that I think that we would want to start pampering players. No, we cannot be pampering players. We cannot be petting players this time around. They have to understand that there is a job to do. There is a business to carry out. And if we have 13 whole days, and not have a game, then it is a shame. That we should not be traveling. We should actually be in Carrington training and working out pieces on how to deal with Everton, because we are going away. We lost to this team. We lost to them at Old Trafford. So we are going away. And going away means that we are going to be playing them at the Hill-Dixon Stadium. And we need to get a win. We've not lost a game in 9. The momentum is supposed to be with us, and we are supposed to stay put in Carrington. So for me, I think that I don't think that letting the players go on this holiday is a step in the right direction. I feel like it's going to add, have a shift of mentality for a shift in mentality for the players. But still, I feel like the players need to understand that there is a job to do, there is a duty to carry out, and they have to stay put, and do all of these things. That is it for me. So if you look at the lineup that I've presented here, I think that Manchester United will be going with this lineup here. I think that Manchester United will be going with this lineup. I feel like this is what Michael Carrick will be going with. Luke Shaw as in the fullback position with Dalot. Then we have Lisandro Martinez and Harry Maguire in the left and the right centre back position. Then Kobe on the left, Casemiro on the right in the midfield area. and then we have Bruno Fernandes who play in the number 10 position. Then we have also Mbuemo to play the left side of the wing, yes, and Ahmad plays on the right. Then we have Matheus Cunha playing as the false nine. So for me, this is a very good lineup, and I think that this set of players have the ability to actually get something out of this game. That is it. That is it for me. Yeah, we've come here to analyze what we feel about the Everton game and to see what Manchester United might be able to do. So for me, I would see you guys again. Thank you for everybody. Thank you to everybody who joined the live chat. Thank you so much, and I appreciate your presence. And we are going to actually discuss this game at the end of the match today. I'll see you again in my next live chat. Thank you so much, and bye bye.